Coming from the Truspace, we ain't entertaining neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. Welcome to the Truspace. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the Truspace. What's good, y'all? My name is Open Book. Here's my partner.
Hey guys, this is Hearth. Welcome back to Truspace.
Yup, and let's break down Mercury and Venus entering into Capricorn. So, first off, how do you think that this energy is going to hit everybody and affect everybody?
So this is interesting because we're coming from Sagittarius. So after Mercury and Venus, which Mercury is communication, thinking, ways of how we could interpret it and communicate and analyze that type of energy. And Venus is the planet of love, appreciation, even indulgence. In Sagittarius, we're trying to develop a lot of meaning and reasoning behind our broad visions and imagination that we had to go through a lot of experiences to give meaning and reason to and extract knowledge and wisdom. But now in Capricorn, as Mercury and Venus move there, they're trying to constrict the broad vision into something practical they could initiate for the winter season. So as we head to the beginning of the winter season, we're thinking about initiating and giving a birth to a business, a status, but it's through the energy of restrictions, creating boundaries, control, so we could know how to attack it mentally properly, considering the ruler of Mercury, Gemini, right now having Mars there retrograde, is causing us to relook a lot of old conversation, a lot of old ideas and things of that nature. As Mercury goes in Capricorn, you may not have ways to initiate what you want to initiate yet. And Venus here, Venus is bringing a lot of love, appreciation, ways and ways how you could love work. You could appreciate working hard and things of that nature. So this is constricting all the knowledge and wisdom from Sagittarius into something practical that you could do from a thinking level, but also something you could appreciate and love too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and I think it's very helpful that they're going in. It normally plays out that way with Mercury and Venus entering into a sign beforehand, kind of priming our minds and our intentions to be able to deal with and to handle the energy of where the sun's going and what season it's going to be. And yeah, closing out Sagittarius season, it's like, and I swear it plays out like that in real life too, where you would get a thought, have a conversation, or your relationships pull you into a certain situation that a week later or 2 weeks later, you start to put things together, or that experience that you went through a week ago had prepared you to assimilate or to pay attention or have the right perspective of a different situation. So you see that happening all the time in life, and that's exactly what's going on with this Mercury and Venus. And yeah, just like what Health is saying, especially like with Venus, appreciating hard work and contraction, appreciating discipline, learning the value of discipline, because especially coming off of Venus and Sagittarius, when you are expanding and you're indulging and you're really seeing what works for you, once you kind of figure that out and you obtain that freedom, you realize that you have to uphold that freedom, or with a lot of that enjoyment, with
Mm.
all of that expanded sense of being, there's a lot more that you have to uphold. Same thing with thoughts. Mercury and Sag, we are entertaining a whole bunch of thoughts, coming up with different types of thoughts, broad, and you're expanding your mind, but there's responsibilities and contraction that has to come with the expansion of your mind that comes afterwards if you're want to be able to sustain those experiences. A lot of people go through experiences and don't extract anything of it or don't capitalize on it. Imagine somebody
Mm.
going
Yeah.
viral, you know, and they don't double down, make the t-shirts, make the coffee mugs, double
Oh,
down
yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah, yeah.
it fades, and then
Dude,
you miss the momentum and you can't capitalize.
I feel like that fits Andrew Tate perfectly, especially the way he got pushed and the way he created a business status. Literally, he became number one in the internet.
Absolutely. And because he capitalized on it, and he was brilliant about it.
Exactly.
He was brilliant
Exactly.
about it.
Dude, he literally had I think what do you call it? Like a hustler university,
Yeah,
which is very fitting for Capricorn.
and
So
people were
my
trying
brother,
to. Yeah,
my brother is saying that he's basically trying to hustle you out of your money, and that's the true game, which is another side thing, basically.
that's joke. It's true, but it's not true because it's funny. Like we even know Lucas, so we know about these these pyramid schemes and all that doing shit. Nigga bringing us to all of those fucking talks and workshops and all of that different type of shit. But he's not. I don't think it's scamming people like that. I think it's honest.
Mhm.
You know, if like see if you buy something that
Well,
you think has value and it breaks or something like that
no.
when you get home, it's like it's not the nigga who sold you that. He told you what it was, and you bought it. You know what I mean?
Well, my brother is a Virgo, so my brother doesn't like him, and my brother is very meticulous with the people he follow,
Square.
and and this guy is such a Sagittarius, so broad, so reckless,
He's like, "Where's the
fuck
receipts? Where's the receipts?
responsibility.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Make this
yeah,
make
yeah,
sense for me."
yeah. Personally, it was not my opinion. I was more focused on the wisdom, the broad visions. I was entertained by him.
Absolutely, absolutely. But that's a perfect example. The Sagittarius, and he gained the momentum. People seeing the expanded sense of being. And what did he do? He doubled down. And to show you the Capricorn aspect, to give you an example of Capricorn, one of the aspects that he did that helped him go viral is I don't think it was Hustler University. I think it was a different mechanism. But he would have his followers repost
Mm-hmm.
videos of him in some type of
That
controlled,
was
funneled way.
that was Hustler University. That
That
was
was
one of the
Hustler University
18 ways. Yeah, that was one of the 18 ways people could make money through his course, basically.
by spreading his content and stuff like that.
And that's genius.
Doubling down, and he understands now. He expanded his sense of self, understood his reputation, developed a reputation, and
Mm-hmm.
created a structure for people to go out to facilitate that reputation. We really should be learning agitate the skills
Mm-hmm.
this time right now.
100%. And like the reason he reached that level of structure and like money, you could say, because he upheld like a high level of like responsibility, a high level of morality, which
Mm.
obviously will accumulate into wealth itself. I'm pretty sure all the best business people are probably have some hardcore religious practice like you don't know about.
Or I met like that girl I was telling you about before, the that Nancy girl who's a billionaire who's friends with
Mm-hmm.
my girlfriend's
Mm-hmm.
family.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at her chart. She's a Pisces moon first and foremost. She's like a Pisces moon, Venus and Pisces too. So it's highly sensitive. And then she has Jupiter and Neptune in Sagittarius. And she's a damn near billionaire. So when I'm seeing all of this, I'm like, yo, there's so much spirituality that is seeping through, but you don't hear. There's not that conversation. She's a very sensitive
She's
person,
not even
but she's
she's
not
not even
aware of
aware
that
of it
that
properly.
spiritual
Yeah.
energy. But it goes into other ways. But that expansiveness, the
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter and Sag, she's a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter and Sag will give you that broad perspective, to not limit yourself. So you can go and expand and more money, more, you wouldn't limit that expansion of self. So it really is there. So just like what you're saying, Sagittarius really opens the doors for you to have more.
Mm-hmm.
Expanding your sense of self
Mm-hmm.
really gives you the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to have more. But then it comes with the more discipline, the more maintenance that you have to,
Exactly.
and they come hand in hand. You can't have one without the
Mm-hmm.
other.
Exactly, exactly. And look at all the rich people, the monarchies, the Saudis, and things of that nature. All of them uphold some form of high moral system, some form of high responsibility.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that led to huge accumulation of wealth and power and control. Yeah.
absolutely. And look at Capricorn and society, and look at how
Mm-hmm.
society is kind of failing us right now, or the structure of society is failing
You. Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
of the lack of responsibility. People want look at the conversations. People want rights without
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
responsibility. You know what I
No,
mean? They
exactly.
want all of these things. They
Yeah.
want to expand all of these things and all of these things. They want the government to fund all of these things, but they don't want more taxes. It's like I don't understand. You need to downsize
Mm,
the government. I
mm,
don't know what the hell y'all niggas is talking about. Then you go in and complain when niggas is going taking your money, but then you want the niggas to go and that's taking your money. They're going to solve your problems, but then to solve your problems, they have to take more of your money. So because you don't want the responsibility, because you don't want to do all of it. So then look where the
mm,
mismanagement comes from. And they don't give a fuck about all of your
mm,
assets and stuff like that. They're not looking at it like that. You have to give a fuck about your assets and stuff like that. And right now you're seeing that. You're getting a little taste. Your mind is drifting there. Your relationships are showing you this because it's Mercury and Venus. But soon enough, when the sun
mm,
enters into Capricorn, you'll be fully consumed by that. And you're going to realize that, oh shit, nobody got me
mm,
but me. And if I don't have
mm,
self
mm,
accountability, I'm going to be the most flunked out. I will have no structure.
It'll be like a tower card moment as we head to Pluto. If you don't know that, you're fucked.
It's a fact. That's a fact. Oh shit, Pluto's there. Oh shit.
Exactly. It's a conjunct the Sun, Venus, Mercury.
Oh
Man, yeah.
shit. So this is real. Like we're talking about like this is real. And you know what? This is a build up. We've been teasing on that with the moon, with different alignments, hitting Pluto, but now is really where we're going to be encapsulated in that, and all of the work that we have been putting towards taking power of control of our position and structure in life is really being tested right now. So where should your mind be? Where should your values be right now? You should really be taking into account and discipline and constructing. Not now's not the time to dibble and dabble in new conversations and new ideas and thoughts, where not to say to be too strict on those elements, because hey, a new idea can really add to things, but you should really be more prioritizing managing what you already have and structuring it in better position and placement of what you already have. Discipline and restriction. Take some things away to see how you deal with them, to minimize, to maximize energy into a single point. Now's the time to really see how you can double down on you. You expanding yourself, expanding your morality. Now is the time to double down on you and to take yourself seriously.
But interesting too is gonna at some point start sextile Neptune. So as you go through all this hardships to your thinking and your love and matter, you're gonna receive the type of guidance from your subconscious mind to see whether you're on the right path or the wrong path and things of that. But that all depends on what you initiate and does it go along what you dream about or what you have illusions about at these type of things. So you wanna be careful as we enter Capricorn season, yeah, and prepare for the sun.
That sextile sounds like it can play out really well, where yeah, you manifest your dreams and stuff like that. On the flip side, I see like that's the
Oh.
slave master or the nigga on the boat, the slave boat. He's telling you, it's nice over in America. We have all of these things. It's nice over here. Just get on the slave boat. We have some bread, or we have some watermelon. Y'all niggas like watermelon over here, right? Right? We have some watermelon on the
Mm,
slave. You go on the slave ship, and then oh, it's a slave ship, and now you a slave. That type of energy,
mm,
you can get flunked out.
and like it's a very delusional too. So they might told you you're gonna meet Jesus, but the ship was named Jesus,
Hey, yo,
and it took
dead
you it took you to a tower card moment or a devil card moment.
dead ass, bro. They're about to tell you, come over here. Jesus about to walk on water. And you're like, oh shit, some nigga about to walk on water. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
just walk up on this bridge. You'll have a perfect view. And I'm like, oh shit. Then you turn around and you see the boat going on water. You see the name of the boat, Jesus. And you're like, oh shit. Oh shit. But that's facts.
Bro, that's ruthless.
That's
I'll
facts.
never come back from that subconsciously.
But that's how it can be, and that's why that discipline is so important, because when you're already focusing on your own stuff and you're already trying your best to manage what's already going on there, you don't have the time. You'll be like, so what? Jesus is walking on water or whatever. I don't even have the time. Or I'm really trying to focus and
Mm-hmm.
accumulate what I'm doing on. I can't indulge into your fantasies or the stuff that you want to add and stuff like that. We're already trying to double down. Now it's the time to double down, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what's most important.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, going into the houses and how this is going to affect everybody on an individual level. Let's look at the first house. How do you think Mercury and Venus being in Capricorn in the first house would hit an individual?
So I guess it's try to initiate new thoughts and ideas, and like maybe communicate to more, and here Venus try to love and appreciate your the way you could initiate more where you could create restrictions and boundaries in the area of your personality, so you could maybe facilitate a better development for yourself and things of that nature. You probably get you'll get basically if you're a Capricorn ascendant, you probably show so much restrictions, control, responsibility. This is time for people maybe to communicate with you, to people, for people to show they appreciate who you are and things of that nature. But also I could say this is time for you to maybe because the first house deals also with health, so you may have to pay attention to that. I could bet with the Capricorn like ascendant, you're very restricted to the bone, to the point you're very stiff, and I would definitely suggest things like yoga and things of that nature, and definitely foods that deal with more fluids, hotness, so they could warm up all that earth nature of Capricorn, especially with Saturn. A lot of Capricorns do not understand the fact that they suffer like heavy constipation issues and bowel issues because they naturally square also Libra and things like that. But
Wow.
also having the ascendant, so you gotta keep. Yeah.
And that's true because like constipation when shit stays in your tract longer, it dries up.
Mm-hmm.
Your intestines take out more, and then it's a dry poop when you're constipated and stuff like that, which reminds me of Capricorn. Absolutely, the dryness
Mm-hmm.
that's added. That's crazy.
I think it's very funny because due to how like our body is divided into different like body parts, they put majority of their awareness in their skeleton system, the most stiff part of their
Yeah,
body, so they can't feel their internal organs or like what happens inside of them. This would could lead them to experience sickness out of nowhere or like crash. Or be like, oh fuck, what the fuck happened? Because you upheld so much responsibility, nigga. You killed yourself.
for real, for real. Absolutely. And yeah, that's the downside of Capricorn, especially with having all of this in your first house, where you'll be thinking
Mm,
a little bit too much in terms of responsibility, in terms of thinking that you're responsible for everything. First house, you're responsible for how people perceive you all the time. Now it's the time to really discipline yourself to have the reputation that you want, to have the conversation to facilitate these, and to have the
mm,
relationships with energetic exchange to facilitate this reputation. But you don't want all of that responsibility to take control of your personality, if you get what I mean. You can go too heavy into that
mm,
area, and now you're responsible for everything. Everything's responsible, and it has to do with your personal individuality. That's not the energy you want to be in. You want to be in the energy where you're
exactly.
you're bringing discipline to your relationships. You're bringing discipline to your so that you can project, the reputation, and be the reputation. Have integrity that you know you're doing. Whether this person says that you're doing that doesn't matter. Whether these people recognize what you're doing doesn't matter. You need to have the integrity of yourself. That's what Capricorn is really about. Is integrity.
So think of Mercury, you're getting more oxygen to your first house,
Mm-hmm.
aka your body, and Venus, you're getting more hormones. Like think of like healing type of effect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's your. You have this going through your first house. What about your second house? If you have Mercury and Venus and Capricorn going through the second house.
So you're gonna be thinking and communicating, but also trying to love and appreciate. We can initiate a business status, dealing with your personal assets, your money and liquid. This is type of energy where you're trying to take more power and control of your assets. Since we're dealing with the second house, you could be very stubborn or You may not know how to utilize a land properly, but now having Mercury and Venus in Capricorn, you may now develop the mind and the love and appreciation that is needed to build on the security and the longevity that Taurus love. This is almost like a person owns a farmland and then he's getting approached by a businessman to like improve his things, and that show he love and appreciate what he's doing, and it actually means a lot to him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying to help him through improving his business, giving him a name, a brand, putting him out there. Sometimes stores do not understand that. Like, look at the farmers; they don't understand that. That's why they fight always with the government.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And get into those infinite loops where they start to manage their crops badly, which makes them need more pesticides because the crops are diseased, and then they need a, the infinite
Mm-hmm.
loop that they get stuck in. Absolutely. But, but just
Mm-hmm.
like what you're saying, it can play out in a positive way where it brings your produce on a higher level, and you're able to expand it outwards. For sure. AKA your resources can really stand, your for your reputation, and they can really stand on your position in the world in terms of the resources, the things that you have, and your ability to work, and to output work, the level of trust and self-worth that you have within yourself is something that you really have to have integrity in, and you need to start communicating about these things, um for sure. Having this going through your second house. Yeah, and I bet Venus can add, more um more type of a regalness, and that's what Capricorn is really about, status and reputation, like we've been saying. Having it in your second house, you can start looking at the things that you have and how they contribute to your reputation and how they contribute to the way that you put yourself in life, whether it be your talents or actual physical resources. You may have an opportunity that's out there laying for you, or something that you already have, something that you're already working on. Now it's the time to double down. Now it's the time to double down on that shit, on your own personal resources, on your own self worth. Yeah, that's the second house. If you have this going through your third house, how do you think this would be hitting
Mm-hmm.
them?
So Mercury is gonna be home here and Venus here. So well, not Venus, but we're gonna be thinking and communicating and trying to show love and appreciate, even indulgent when it comes to initiating a business task. When it comes to the area of our personal surroundings, our immediate surroundings. How can we deal within our immediate surroundings with a much more like business Capricornian way? By this I mean taking initiative and preventing ourselves from getting almost pushed around. Since we're dealing with the third house, Gemini energy, mutable air, it's very easy to get distracted. Like if you have a lot of brothers, a lot of siblings,
Mm-hmm.
like you understand this energy, or you might live in a very crowded community, like literally third house. Having Mercury and Venus here, this is like showing you taking initiative in your way of thinking for your own self. You can your own restriction for your own self. This is you not getting distracted whatsoever around your immediate surroundings, but also maybe getting ideas and maybe conversation with your siblings, neighbors, and maybe seeing more ways you could see love, especially around with your with the people I said previously.
Absolutely.
But it's all Capricorn, more personal, more business, more hardcore, which is Gemini. Gemini is more like he wanna play
Yeah.
around. This is almost like your brother wanna joke with you, but like it's too
Yeah, yeah,
serious.
yeah, dead ass. Absolutely. And look at how your surroundings can really shape how you look at the world and the role that you play in the world. And I can so see, based off your surroundings, you can think that your reputation as one thing, or that the role that you play in the world is one thing when it's something else. So you're
Mm-hmm.
really gonna have to start analyzing how your surroundings and your siblings and your immediate surroundings, everything around you, and even your mindset around these things help facilitate your reputation. And you have to double down on these things, double down on your environment and how you can utilize it to help bolster your reputation. Maybe you're from a certain place, a certain set. You have certain things in your surroundings, in your environment, certain conversations that you can have, certain people that certain mindsets that other people don't have. A Capricorn third house, you probably have a hard ass mindset, or you're able to get serious about a whole bunch of shit. Double down.
You could probably knock in. Uh, you could probably knock in people doing like sell them something like that. That's what I
Yeah,
see
for
in my head.
sure, and have the right mindset to deal with the rejection, to have the higher goal, to
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So this is what you
Mm-hmm.
really need to double down into, and not to feel responsible for your surroundings, your
Mm-hmm.
siblings, and then you end up trying to take care of everybody. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. It's about everybody working together to build a better structure. And the better understanding you have of that, the less you'll feel used and manipulated by your environment and your surroundings, the more in tune you'll feel with it.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's that. If you have Mercury and Venus going through your third house, what about the fourth house?
So you're gonna be thinking, communicate, and show love and appreciate, even indulgent in the way you initiate a business, a status, and show restrictions and boundaries and control in the area of family, home, domestic issues. Like this is energy where they're completely opposing each other. This is where you're trying to uphold responsibility so you could deal with your home life better and things of that nature. You're getting more thoughts, ideas, conversation, and maybe trying to show love, but love, appreciation towards your family. But you're trying to do all that through things dealing with business status, how you could be seen by the world, so you could actually correlate your home life properly to prepare for your business. If our home life is not correlated properly, it will always hold us back from business. Could you imagine having kids running all around while you're trying to like almost like maybe do something? But like if you have everything structured around while they have something to do while you're doing this, you can now do your business at home. But if you don't do that, then you didn't know how to put those opposing energies
Mm-hmm.
together.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. If anything, your home life could propel your business and being having your family there and shit like that. Look at everybody who made it with very heavy wealth. They're all family monarchies, but you think it's opposites. You.
That's facts. That's absolute facts. And it goes to show you the power of oppositions. If you can make that
Mm-hmm.
sextile
Mm-hmm.
that's out of reach and make the leap to reach it, you'll you've achieved a high level of balance. So even though if you have this going for your fourth house, you're having one of the biggest challenges with this alignment, you will have the biggest reward if you're able to,
Mm-hmm.
just like what Harith was saying, if you're able to utilize these aspects at home. Like look at this. Like a lot of people be trying to tell you about business, be trying to tell you about a whole bunch of stuff, and they're home. They don't talk to their
Home
wife.
life
Their wife
fucked
don't
up.
listen to them. The kids don't respect them. You know what I mean? Everything's locked out at home, and niggas trying to tell you how to run a business or how to do this, that, and the third. Even to the people, the high level people that we're talking about, like the lady that I was telling you about before, who the billionaire lady who's a family friend.
Mm-hmm.
Her relationship with her
Mm-hmm.
kids aren't the best by a long shot, and it's like, is that worth it to be a billionaire? But you see the discrepancy of it, and this is where you could get chipped out in terms of trying to add a little bit too much structure. Maybe you can utilize your home a little bit too much, or become dry in that home, in that comfort area a little bit too much,
Mm-hmm.
become too business oriented in a place where you're supposed to relax and unwind and stuff like that. But once there's a relaxed feeling, a comfortability around discipline, around getting the work done, it's another level of organization. It's another level of efficiency in the home. It's another level of everything. So you really have are forced to find this equilibrium and add more thoughts to this and add more love and appreciation to these things with Mercury, Venus passing through this area.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, so that's how it'd be going in the fourth house. What about the fifth house? How do you think this will hit done?
So you're gonna be thinking and communicating and analyzing and show love and appreciating through the lens of business, initiating something of a practical nature through boundaries and restriction. But it's kind of interesting here in the fifth house where it deals with creativity, art, music, children, self-expression, pure creativity. And naturally, the fifth house in conjunct Capricorn, so they don't
Mm-hmm.
get along together. So this may be the time for you to get ideas, communicate with people on ways you could initiate a better business, bring that personal creativity into that public life, Capricorn, and things of that nature. But also be careful in the way you restrict and create boundaries when it comes to your self creativity and things of that nature. You don't want to create so much boundaries that you stop
Yeah.
being creative, using your bones to restrict the blood flow to the point that you give yourself a heart attack. Which is, I think, how a lot of people in business and maybe even a high political level experience blood
Yeah.
issues and bunch of things related to that
Yeah,
concept.
absolutely. It's so connected. And then look at old people at the time when they have the brittle bones because it was being seeped in and put
Mm,
into their system. Or if you have this energy balanced out, you'll have the stronger skeletal system that doesn't have to be compromised
mm-hmm,
to have blood flow, to have creativity. AKA, you don't have to sacrifice and become too dry and become to all of these things for that creative flow to be expressed
mm-hmm.
and accessed, and for you to have fun, and for you to enjoy yourself.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. You could really hear develop like Capricorn in the fifth house. You could have ways of like having fun with business and initiating ways of working hard that a lot of people will look at you weird, but like a real nigga will appreciate
Exactly.
that.
Or even, like a high level artist or high level creative to whatever degree
Mm-hmm.
it may be that is your modality, and you could just be a hobbyist or a woodcrafter or whatever it is. But the more discipline that you're able to add, you being able to double down on your hobbies, being able to double down on your fun and entertainment, you can turn these things into a whole career. Maybe not necessarily a career where you're able to make money and doing all of these things, but it could be a reputation where the things that you're enjoying and it could be
Mm-hmm.
what you're known for. And now you're put into certain situations where we know that this guy loves playing basketball, or we always want this guy on our team when we're going to play basketball. Now you're the basketball guy. You know what I mean? And now there's more structured towards your hobbies because people know, oh, this is the basketball nigga. He's about to go over here and do this or this, that, and the third. Even though that these two areas may be hard to bridge together, like what Harry was talking about, it being in conjunction where the energies aren't necessarily the same. One's dealing with creativity and expressing yourself, and one's dealing with practicalizing all of your assets. One's dealing with contraction and one's dealing with pushing out. So it does take a bit of an adjustment to deal with these energies. But look what happens with that balance. You'll be so much better at creatively expressing yourself within the business, like standpoint. So either it leads your creativity, your fun, and all of that leads to better business, or leads to better structure in life in totality. If you were to double down on these things, to really focus and zero in on your thoughts and appreciating
Mm-hmm.
structure within your entertainment world.
I can see how that could play out biologically as people getting old, their bones are getting weaker and brittle, but you so into your own personal creativity, you figure out a ways of continuously replace your bone with your blood flow. Because other people, they're not like doing that practice, but like you're doing it specifically for business, a status, so you're creating bones to uphold. Which is kind of funny that we create our bone structure to uphold, and as we
We
age,
take,
like we walk
yeah,
around with it.
yeah, and take from it. Yeah.
And we were responsible for it. The inflammation, the
It's like
back
your
pain, the knees pain.
your pension or something like that. It's like you're saving up your pension or something. That's joke. That's facts though. But yeah, that's what it would be like if you have that going through your fifth house. If you have it going through your sixth house, how do you think this will hit them?
So Mercury is gonna like being here because it's actually exalted in the sixth house. So and Venus is debilitated here. Does not like to be here. So with Mercury, I can see how you really get a lot of thought and go over thoughts and ideas and basically ways of communicating about your business status, public life in the area of work, details, health, routines, patterns. So this is maybe the time for you to break out certain routines, pattern, so you could maybe capitalize on the like Capricorn mindset of willing to initiate something, while Virgo might be mutable, so you might be too indecisive to do these things. But having Mercury, in Capricorn, you're having these type of ideas, these type of conversation, and things of that nature. You might even have uh, uh, people helping you develop a business based upon a routine you're doing and things of that nature. Venus here though, it's hard for it to feel
Yeah,
love, but it's in Capricorn too, so you're loving hard work, and that's very hard to love. Just ask yourself how much you hate to work every day and things of that nature. Especially a lot of us do something we don't like. So and then Venus in the sixth house too, man, that's so dry, man. All I could tell you that try your best to find something you love and appreciate within all this practicality, within all this earth energy, which is gonna be very hard.
for sure. And for me, one of the things that helped me, that really drove me to, like, say, eat better and to focus more on nutrition, was, my competitive nature. I seen how people were resistant to that, and how I drove myself was like I wanted to be better than them. If you get what I mean. You can really utilize that, especially with Capricorn in your sixth house. It'll be so easy for your
Mm-hmm.
ambitions and upholding your reputation to make you worry, and for you to develop routines around these your responsibilities and upholding certain reputations, um, that make you feel like you're in a rut, like not those positive routines in terms of what you're doing. So it all stems from the negative mentality you have around working. So Venus and Mercury is really trying to give you new innovative ways and ideas of how you can go about a daily routine, how you can go about work, to freshen up that aspect in order to allow for more efficiency. And Venus is allowing you to see the value in this hard work. But for you, now is really the time to double down on working hard, whether it be literally working out, whether it
Mm-hmm.
be your job, whether it be your side hustle, whether it be nutrition, whether it be cleaning up your house, or whatever it is. You Now is really the time to double down on that routine and pattern that you want to be refined, that you want to be your reputation, what you want to be upheld as. Now it's the time to really double down on it. And you'll see it'll be easier to have these thoughts and ideas. It'll be easier to appreciate the harder struggles of things.
Exactly. I can man with Capricorn in the sixth
Yeah.
house, man. You making money, bro. You
Somehow.
know how to make money. Like regardless, nah, that's dangerous energy.
Somehow you could really get the bag, or you could just be sitting there worrying about it. You know what I mean? Thinking of all the things that you should do, and you probably bang on and be like, "Yeah, you're right. If you did do that, yeah, you would make a bunch of money." But you too busy sitting here
Mm-hmm.
thinking about doing that and not doing it. So don't get into that energy.
Definitely, I can see how Capricorn energy would destroy your digestive system too, as we
Hmm.
were speaking earlier. But here, you're having the sixth house, so specific. You definitely have a dry out intestine, so
Yeah,
definitely
for
focus
sure,
on
for
that.
sure. Now may be the time to maybe not even take on a new diet, but to be slightly a little bit more restrictive with your diet, so that you can double down in other areas and not focus and worry about that as much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It might even lead to more efficiency.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you have this going on in your seventh house, how do you think this will be hitting them?
So you're gonna be thinking and communicating and analyzing on initiating a business status in the area of relationship, marriage, friendship, where you're supposed to be so to create harmony to just initiating a relationship not based on anything, which is the good side of a Libra energy of being liberal, being communicative, trying to create peace, harmony through words. But this is also the negative side, because it could lead to a bunch of nothingness and things of that nature. So having Mercury in Capricorn, you're having thoughts and ideas and mentalities of being very serious and restrictive with your relationship, the people you want to be married to, and things of that nature. But also on the negative side, you could be too restrictive, too controlling, and that will prevent the flow of all that liberal Libra energy from coming in, which create the harmony and a lot of the beauty in your life through your friends and things of that nature. and Venus rules this area, so you definitely trying to put a lot of love and appreciation to the lenses of Capricorn lens to initiate a business and status in their relationship, and that um, those two energies they square each other. So there's a lot of learning opportunities that you have to go through what relationship actually will help you facilitate a business and a better public life, a better image. Because a lot of us get into relationships that does not allow us to travel
Yeah,
into our like mid heaven, but get allow us to
yeah,
die
dead
in the
ass.
eighth
Yeah,
house.
that's for sure. That's for sure. A lot of times, relationships and just having a relationship and blending your energy with a whole nother person gives you a whole bunch of more responsibilities and weight for you to go and carry. So this may lead a person to be more restrictive and um disciplined with their relationships, but just like what Harith was saying, how that can lead you to a dark hole where you're closed off to a lot of opportunities that present themselves because of a perceived thing that you're trying to uphold. But this is not to discount that conservative aspects in your relationships. What I suggest is that you, like what Harith was saying, with Venus being there, with Mercury being there, you really double down on thinking about what you value about relationships and what you genuinely feel is a accomplished relationship or an efficient relationships, so that instead of you blocking off relationships like that, you're kind of being in the mentality of blocking off a relationship, you're more so attracting relationships that fit within your paradigm, because they know if they were to fit within your paradigm, that everything would click and that they would be treated effectively. This is like, so you knowing there being a basketball team that needs a 3-point shooter and you're a 3-point shooter. You know what I mean? So now you know that you can go and fit and play a good role onto this team with another team who has 5 3-point shooters. You're probably not going to fit as big of a role into that, but that's not to diminish your skill at 3-point shooting. It's to find a role that fits for you. So try not to be too conservative in terms of you're blocking out everything, but shit, go ahead and have your standards. Go ahead and have your high point that you want to accomplish out of your relationships. You may bring out the best and most efficient out of the people that you are in a relationship with, as long as you don't get too domineering with that energy. Just really know what you want.
Like as a Capricorn, like Capricorn seven house, I can see how you could apply the concept of what do you call it? What do you call it? Being conservative into
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
liberalism, which is very interesting
yeah.
because they naturally square each other. But like that's how
You
life function,
absolutely. We're
so it
both
makes sense.
of those. Absolutely. So yeah, that's the seventh house. How do you think it'll play out if you have this going through your eighth?
So you may be thinking, communicating, and analyzing about initiating a business status and ways of creating restrictions and boundaries in the area of philosophy, spirituality, God, the area where you ascend out of the eighth house darkness and things of that nature. So this is more conversation, ideas on maybe your belief systems, your moralities, and maybe ways you could correlate these ideas about God on how can I apply this to my business status. This is like Andrew Tate type of energy and things like that. So, but it could be very restrictive with the ways of your ideas, the way you communicate, the way you analyze about business status in this area. It's almost a type of idea where you're the Catholic Church and you're trying to capitalize on some like occult knowledge type of energy and things of that nature. So but also uh, so you want to be careful. You don't want to create too much restrictive boundaries and have to control when you experience God, which sounds very interesting in my opinion. But and having Venus here too, you tend to show love, appreciation, your business status, restrictions, boundaries, control, but you tend to apply that to God. It's almost like you trying to show your appreciation to God, but it's almost like you going to do like Shabbat, Ramadan, taking responsibility with your love, your desires, your indulgence. Indulgence is how you pay God almost, especially dealing with the ninth house, or this is how you ascend, or give Venus like a higher perspective, especially being in Capricorn. Could be make it very restricted to the point that
Oh
it
yeah,
forgets
yeah.
God.
Venus could have a really hard time. Yeah, within an area like this. things are very dry and things can be very negative. But I still applaud you to draw on some of that Venetian energy because you can really learn to appreciate the darkest moments of your life and see how that could lead you to your highest point. Absolutely. Just like what Harith was saying, this exposure to what's going on in the behind the scenes in your life is really showing you where these responsibilities are coming from. You probably might even feel responsible for certain insecurities that you may have or certain ways of feeling that other people may have at you or how you emotionally feel about the world. There may be a lot of trauma that maybe deals with maybe authority figures or just discipline within itself. But you have to realize that trauma can really be transmuted into the highest level of energy where with that level of knowledge you can build anything, and not only that, you can build up others who have been broken down as well. People don't really peep the eighth house. All the water houses really you should be peeping, but the eighth house as well, so much opportunity for healing. And once you heal yourself, those houses, your fourth, eighth, and 12th house, you're able to heal other
Yo.
people. So I could see this modality being that of a healer, or maybe at this time you're someone who knows how to make a business or structure around transmuting certain energies. So now's the time to really be thinking about that, where either you personally can add a higher purpose, add a higher disciplinary thing that can help you go through a dark time, that can help you transmit the energy of a dark time, but also equip you with the ability to build a structure and a way of seeing things, a way of handling certain responsibilities around your insecurities and deeper, darker emotions that can help someone else find the structure for them to rise above, to them to use the building pieces of their trauma and their behind the scenes energy for to lift themselves up over it because you know how to do this because going through it yourself. So right now, really double down on your core self, on strengthening your insecurities, because you not only may be able to heal yourself but heal other people at large. They may pay you for it, since we're talking about the eighth
Definitely.
house too.
It's almost
So
like
you never know.
absolutely, yo. This is the type of energy where you're trying to create like a tough skeleton system around like your emotional body, aka your vulnerabilities.
An exoskeleton. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what do you think about the ninth house, having this going through the ninth house?
Oh, we were talking about the eighth house. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, but we're gonna be thinking, communicating, and analyzing about business, practicality, structure in the area of God, spirituality. How can we add more restriction and boundaries, or like capitalize on our understanding of God, but not try too hard, because then we get too much restrictions and boundaries where we prevent more opportunities to experience God. Since this is the nine house, these are experiences. Like I said, with the Capricorn nine house, you might get a lot of restrictions bounded around the concept of God, which is dangerous
Expansive.
since God is so broad. You might try to see God through the money, business, status. You might become like Capricorn in the ninth house. You guarantee at some point in your life you're being like a capitalist. Or
Mm-hmm.
like you agree with that mentality. Like you don't against it too. And Venus here, you're trying to show love, appreciation, even indulge in your business status in the ninth house. So like this is you trying to show love, more understanding, more appreciation to certain experiences, certain moral system. But here you're trying to apply the concept of Capricorn restrictive control to your desires and what you appreciate and what you indulge in, so you could do something properly with Venus being here. But it's a hot spot for Venus and
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature.
Absolutely, because you're trying to add appreciation to your experiences, add new ideas and new ways of thinking about your experiences too, that allow them to reach the highest level of efficiency, to allow them to your experiences can be what represents you. and really represent you on a large scale, and be your higher learning aspects that teach you how to discipline. So now's the time to really contemplate about your past relationships, and and your previous experiences, and how that has showed you to initiate discipline in your life, and how that has showed you to initiate more practicality in your life, and the wisdom and meaning that you had learned off of that. Now's the time to really double down on this. I bet you went through a lot of aspects. You had to deal with authority, where you had to deal with responsibility, a bunch of weight on your back, where you had to uphold the position, and maybe you were in charge of people or something like that, going through and how that designed your perspective of religion, God, and spirituality and morality at large. Now it's the time to really double down into that bag. But just like what Harris was saying, you can be so contracted within this point, maybe on how you experience God in spirituality. You can get into, the tried and true structure. Maybe you're a Christian or whatever it is, and because they provided a structure for you to assimilate your own experiences, you can get so stuck and attached to that structure. But if you created your own structure based off of that stuff, you can be attached to your own structure. You'll be
Mm-hmm.
better off because you'll be
Mm-hmm.
able to see that somebody else's structure is built the same way. Oh, the way that they use the I beams and they built the frame is very similar to how you built the frame. Maybe they did a little bit different door design or whatever it is, but then you'll get to see, okay, I'm in the right
Mm-hmm.
area, by trusting myself and my experiences. Or the temple that I had built is not too far off from these niggas' temple, so I don't even need to go to these other people's temple. So you can really start contemplating about building your own temple, and start appreciating the aspect that you went through the experiences, so that you can even build your own temple. And this can help facilitate a broad level of understanding of how to position yourself into the world. For sure. That's the ninth house. Looking at the 10th house, how do you think this would be hitting them here?
So you guys gonna experience more of the same energy. But like now having Mercury here, I would say you guys have maybe breakthrough ideas in ways you could facilitate maybe your public business, your status, your personal image, and maybe learn how and maybe get into conversation about not being so restricted about your public life, your business, your status, and probably you're all putting a lot of energy in that area. So having Mercury here, you're getting all those new ideas to deal with it better, or try to restrict it more, which would be the negative side. So don't do that since you're already into that energy so deeply. And having Venus here, which would be better. Venus will show you, make you show love, appreciate, even indulge into that whole capitalistic aspect of Capricorn on the negative side. But like if you use it on the positive side, you could like lessen the restrictive bony aspect of like the Capricorn 10 house energy and make it much more fluid, bring much more beauty, harmony, friendship, relationships. It's almost like bringing some of your friends to maybe a business meeting or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That type of energy.
Absolutely. You may be in Aries ascendant or close to having that energy with this going on in your 10th house. And I know Aries ascendants, it's all go, 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 and really initiating things like that on the fly in the cuff, which can really lead to a lot of responsibilities that maybe were unwanted, and a lot of reputations that are unwanted, which I could see, which would bring a lot of attention to the 10th house. Absolutely. So when you're thinking about these areas and you're trying to balance the energy within these areas, I really applaud you, especially if you're an Aries ascendant with this alignment, to really understand the nature that you are, that the things that you do, just by you being an individual, you're going to create all of these situations for things for you to uphold. To really take that, to embrace the warrior mindset, and all of these discipline stuff that come to you, to really for a testament of your discipline, for be in the mindset of exercising and testing and utilizing your discipline at this point, where you can really magnify and double down on that energy. People don't realize that, even though that they put them themselves into certain things, like say an Aries ascendant, or just Aries in general, they may do certain things and not have thought about it, but because it came from an honest place, the reputation or the responsibilities that they had, even though it may be heavy or maybe hard, is exactly what they need, and it's exactly there. So I would really trust in the responsibilities and reputations that you have accumulated to yourself, even though you've never necessarily facilitated that, and take it as a challenge. Okay, this was thrusted upon me. How do I uphold this reputation? How do I uphold these things and take that challenge of disciplinary action? Because um that natural flow of discipline and responsibility coming to you is a part of you, and you really this is the area where you should really double down into. But yeah, that's if you have this going on through your fifth house. If you have this going on through your 11th house, how do you think this will hit down?
So you're gonna be communicating and thinking and getting into conversation about business status in the area of groups, friends, people who you guys want to rebel and do something progressive with, maybe like build technology or create more, do things related to the government. By having Capricorn in your 11th house, I could see how you be more like maybe laid back, since Capricorn is the feminine side of Saturn. You want to sit back and maybe build more before you initiate, as opposed to Aquarius. Aquarius is almost like the after Capricorn initiate the business status. Aquarius is the walk-in
Mm-hmm.
version of that and things of that nature. So once we consider that, you can have a lot of ideas of initiating business status in area of friends, but you may not know, you may be too restrictive with your groups of associates and things of that nature, and that might be preventing you from finding the right associates. Maybe too harsh with them and things, because you focus too much on building instead of associating yourself. It's going to allow you actually to develop the information that will lead you to build more and things of that nature. So definitely don't be too restrictive, but also be restrictive enough
Mm-hmm.
to associate yourself properly. And Venus is gonna bring more love, appreciation to the groups, friends, maybe even have fun with the way you get to progress reality. And through the lens of Capricorn, it's through business status. So maybe you're appreciating these things and you're seeing how the people you're working with and your business are connected. And Venus are allowing you to love and appreciate these things, and maybe even indulge in it, which is very hard. But the more you could do it, like use Venus in positive ways, which is we're not taught that, we could actually produce a lot of energy. Because think about how much bad habits we utilize Venus in versus like
Inverted Venus. I'm
positive
telling you, that's how
habits.
they run the world.
They literally call Venus Lucifer, especially when yeah, like literally, you're addicted to sugar. Like
Dead
it's very
ass,
hard thing to
bro.
break through
Dead
that.
ass.
Like you like, if we tell you you worship Venus, like you
Mm-hmm.
cannot
But you
argue
want
with
to
that.
go and talk about the Aztecs or Maya being primitive, worshiping Venus and all of that different, and the concept of how they used
Mm-hmm.
Venus to go to war and shit like
Mm-hmm.
that, and the shadow governments using Venus to for the war of your
Mm-hmm.
mind. It's like where they get that idea from. But yeah, just like what Harith was saying, the desire for efficiency can really make you become a little bit more drier in your relationship aspect or in your association aspect, where you want things to be so practical and efficient you forgot about being like-minded. Maybe you became a little bit too authoritative and too domineering, and forget that you wanted efficiency so that you can build uh, a constellation that can really start pushing things forward, that you could start receiving a lot of love. And that's what Capricorn is about. You're putting structure into things so that you can enjoy it, so that you can dive into all the other aspects of the zodiac wheel, so you can dive into the enjoyment of things.
Yo, Venus in Capricorn is like the most maybe in uh, best way to almost experience love or appreciation, because it's coming from the lens of
Yeah.
integrity based upon what you build it. People will come to you and show love. Just think about that concept alone. Like people don't associate Venus with Capricorn, or like look how much Venus energy we give to the structure,
How
their
much we
business,
value and
their government.
appreciate these things. Absolutely.
Yeah, and And some of us even in love with the way they structure their
and would
temples,
fight
their
for it.
bows, all these things
Absolutely.
too.
Absolutely. And addicted to these things. But look at
Mm-hmm.
what could happen if we were to use it for ourselves. AKA all of these food companies and all of these other people are inflicting all of this hormonal responses in you. What if you were in control of your hormonal responses? And what if your hormonal responses was linked up with you and your buddy them? How what would you be able to manifest? Remember that all of these happy chemicals and all of these things is biochemistry, or it's physical and spiritual. These two realms aren't separate from each other.
Mm-hmm. Like 100%, 100%. Like all the way to the point you can control like your hormonal system, but it's very hard because we experience more negativity than positivity. But the more energy you can put into positivity, you will see how like that would actually benefit you
Mm-hmm.
biologically if you
Mm-hmm.
actually try to practice that.
So yeah, for you who's going through this with the 11th house, it's really time to double down about communicating and valuing your associates and your friend groups at large, and finding effective and efficient ways of diving into these things without trying to be too authoritative and too controlling, but to be that facilitator, to be the person that adds structure that the whole friend group can add into. You know what I mean? It's like the type of person who does the planning for the friend group, and then we all go and have a good time. But you orchestrated the thing. You orchestrated the circumstances, or you were the management of people. You know how your friends work together, so you put these two people together to go and do this and stuff like that. That level of efficiency and that level of accountability for your associations and how things go on, you can make things run so much smoother. But just like Harry was saying, you don't want to go into the feel too responsible for your friend group, and now everything does, because or everything that a like-minded person does, you feel responsible for, or you have to attach to your reputation. You don't have to go that deep into that energy, but it does help to facilitate more efficiency in terms of your friendship group, where you guys actually start to make sense. When you guys hang out, there's practicality involved. It's not just flunked out this in terms of you guys actually bring more stability to each other's lives.
And that'll prevent like how and the 11th house energy you will create so many associate and groups, and you might even create a situation where these groups and associate collide. Like this is politics, this is like gang fights and things of that nature,
Absolutely.
like on the highest level type of shit.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's how it'll be hitting you with this going through the 11th house. The 12th house, how do you think this will be hitting people here?
So you're trying to think, communicate, and analyze about business status on your public life in an area that Mercury does not like to be in. So it's gonna be very, very hard for you to think
Mm-hmm.
about business status, being practical about your subconscious mind, your dreams, illusions, mysticism. I think, and like you're receiving these things. So as you're thinking about your business status, you're receiving all these subconscious influences and things of that nature. So you're trying to think your way through. It's gonna be very hard. So like try to not let all this Pisces energy outweigh you, but develop like a structured mentality with Mercury and Capricorn, so you can like fly with a solid structure, so you don't get just flunked out with all the mutable water and things of that nature. Venus here, Venus is exalted here, so you might even figure out a way you can exalt what you love and appreciate based upon your subconscious mind, but it's getting filtered through your business. Almost like you're using your business as a representation of what you dream about, and you try to show love and appreciation through that and things of that nature. I can see how a Capricorn, um, 12th house, you could see like the mysticism behind business type of energy. You could like see the behind the scene when you see like politics and things of that nature. Why people uphold certain responsibility and things of that. Why people do certain things, which
Absolutely.
would be quite interesting. But I could see how it could be very but I could say it could be very restricted with your subconscious mind and your dreams, your illusion. That's I think applying the concept of creating your bones within a realm that's so light in terms of like spectrum that uh, you don't end up like doing nothing, anything damaging yourself and creating like a small piece for yourself to think you could. And also, like Capricorn in the 12th house, you try to create a business and a part of like a subconscious mind and try to run that type of
It's like your
energy
own
and to
section in
bring
La
people
La
to that
Land or
world
something
type of
like
energy.
that.
Like, if you get what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
Yeah, dead ass for sure.
exactly, basically.
I could see someone with this alignment having very good business sense in the sort, in the sense of what you were saying with Mercury being debilitated. You may feel, and Venus being exalted, you may feel it before the thought comes to you. In terms of, you may sense the practicality of a certain situation in the central experience of efficiency, of responsibility, of initiating practicality before you think it. But the feeling of it is going to help channel the thoughts that are associated with that as well. So for sure. But just like Harith is saying, you could carve out your own section of La La Land and it be a negative aspect, but we all go to La La Land. You know what I mean? So do you want to go to La La Land and go into all the other rides and all the other shit that's all the pedophilia, all of the other nasty shit that's in the world that's going to affect you? Or do you want your own slice of La La Land? It's like, nah, nigga, we don't be doing all of that. We just have like certain shit here. We just have big booty bitches and apple juice over here. That's all we have in my La La Land. And when I get flunked out, that's all we think about. While that could be a detriment, you know, and being influenced by different areas does lead to not only a more sensitive individual, but someone who's able to go with the flow and blend in with others a little bit more. Maybe it's a little bit hard for you to blend in with the feelings and emotions of the collective in terms of being trying to be a little bit too dry when the situation is
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmingly wet. So you may be a little bit too restrictive in that, in terms of you try and really stay in your own section in La La Land when there's really no borders, there's no lines, but you go out of your way to do it. Even when you see a ride, you kind of want to like, no, I'm gonna stay over here, but you don't want it to get to that aspect because then there's not much going on, or you really start to double down on your own personal subconscious feelings, and those things can really start to manifest into your life and start building up. But when all of these smaller influences come and pull you in different directions, you kind of have a better feel of where you are esoterically, because you're like, oh, I don't like that movement or being in that area. I liked it where I was before. But if you stay in the one spot, you're not gonna have any spatial reference of that subconscious realm. But doubling down on that, you could really take control of your subconscious. You can really be effective with what you put and how you incorporate spirituality and feelings and emotion and belief in your life in such a practical manner that whatever fills up your subconscious, because of the way you organize your subconscious, is only going to benefit you. It's only going to add to you, only going to add to more efficiency. So this is that max level ability that you can untap if you double down into this area. Just don't try and get so hung up in having your own section in La La Land, and now you're trying to bring other people there too, you don't want to get to that point.
Like biologically, I could see how having Capricorn in the 12th house, you
Yeah.
could develop maybe drier skin or even like tougher skin and things of that nature. So you're gonna watch out because it definitely will play out through your mentality first, which is gonna control your body. So definitely, if you become less restrictive with your subconscious mind, you're gonna definitely notice different changes with your skin, your intermediary system, because which is
Hmm.
very important to filter out your body. Like a lot of people think about your digestive system, your kidneys, but never consider your skin as a major part of your filtering system. Having Capricorn here, too much restrictions, bad
Yeah.
to the point you might even
Develop
like block
acne,
your like
all
skin
different type of
pores
stuff.
type of energy. Mm, you might be that person like when
It's like,
everybody
yeah,
work
that's
out,
weird.
like
Yeah.
you will sweat and like
This
everybody
made me
looking
think
at you
of,
weird.
there's some people in Africa who deep dive into a highly salted or salt filled lake to collect the salt. Like, that's their job. What these niggas do is they lather themselves with some shea butter,
Mm,
some good shea coconut butter, that good stuff, and they dive into that to create like a layer of protection. And These niggas look beautiful. These niggas is like sexy as hell.
Yo,
The
that's
way they be
so deep.
shining and glistening, all different type of shit. Um, and they don't get dried out. So you see how having the layer of moisture, even though you're diving into a more maybe drier aspect, how you can balance out those realms of reality. You
Mm,
just have to flip that to whatever scenario that you're in.
bro,
Yo, dead ass, bro.
these niggas discovered hockey.
Dead ass, bro. And they
Iron
be coming
hockey.
out looking so skin so soft, so smooth. It's like, damn, bro, damn.
I could and I could see how with the benefit of salts, they wouldn't need to like eat certain
Mm-hmm.
foods. They'll actually get certain good minerals, good sodium, and not like get the negative side of like salt, the white salt, like get Himalayan
Mm-hmm.
pink
They
salt or
don't
like
get
whatever
mad.
type
They
of salt
probably
they're
have
getting.
white girlfriends or something like that. Don't get mad when she doesn't put enough salt on things. It's fine.
Don't get
Exactly.
salty for sure
That's
either.
how it can play out. That's how it can play out. But yeah, that's Mercury and Venus through Capricorn through all of the houses. So I hope you liked the video. Give us a like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, TrueSpace_. Check out our website, TrueSpace.biz. And we appreciate the support, guys. Catch you guys later.
Take care, guys.